This is my 9th year serving as the CEO at Mother's Choice. And it has also been the most challenging year as we have seen unprecedented problems and events and challenges make the babies, the young girls, and the families that we serve more vulnerable than ever. And yet we still have great hope. And that's because we have a vision of every child growing up in a safe, loving, and permanent family. And we have a very clear roadmap of how we're going to get there. We first start with modeling small by pioneering a proof of concept programs that really learn from international best practice and localize it for our culture here in Hong Kong. We invest, secondly, in building up our capacity in our people, our systems, and our infrastructure that enable us to lay the foundation to finally really influence big so that we can model collaboration, open dialogue. We can share from our expertise, our learning, our resources with others so we can bring the whole community together, because really the whole community has a role to play. Now, this has been a season of unprecedented challenge, but this is also an unprecedented opportunity. This is not a season for spectators. No, this is a season for us to rise up. Because how can we sit back with everything that is happening in our city? When we stand together, when we choose to give, when we choose to respond, we really can change life stories. Now, over the next 6 weeks, we aim to raise $30 million, and that's because we need to do more than ever before. We're actually expanding our services because the need is so great. And so I would urge you to respond, to choose this moment to give back, to join hands together with us and change life stories in a way that lasts for generations. Just like this young man's story, whose life was changed because of so many of you.
So my name is Jan Kudenek. I was born in Hong Kong in 1993. Mother's Choice was, my home for the first 3 months of my life. It was very obvious from a young age for me that I looked different, and I had to, deal with that in many different ways. It was a struggle for me, I think, until very recently. Adoption, on one hand, is definitely a very happy event. It's a family forming and new bonds being formed. But with those new bonds, I think on the other side, there's also loss that needs to be accepted. So there's a loss from the birth mother and the birth son or daughter. So when I moved back to Hong Kong 4 years ago, I had a friend who wanted to volunteer at Mother's Choice, and that prompted me to tell her that I'm actually from Mother's Choice. Yeah, so I think subconsciously I always wanted to explore my adoption, but I never had the outlet or courage to do it. I wish that, in high school or before, that there was a group, something informal where I would feel comfortable to talk about my experience.
So Jan is actually the same age as one of my kids, and being a good friend of his mom and dad's, actually his mom reached out to me and said Jan has come back to Hong Kong, finished university, and is living and working in Hong Kong, and he would like to reconnect with Mother's Choice. And Phyllis at that time was looking for anyone who could share about adoption, who had the personal experience, and so we met together.
One of our staff was adopted and didn't even know that she had been adopted until after she was married. And it took many years for her to share her story with me. And when I realized that she had such a powerful story, I asked her if she would be willing for me to interview her at one of the Mother's Choice events. She talked about how she felt about her birth mother, how she felt about her adoptive family, and everybody wants to know the answers to those questions, right?
The adult adoptee gathering is a group Gretchen, Phyllis, one of my best friends, Doreen, and I started in 2019. And it started as a very, very small group of mainly adoptees meeting casually for dinner. Now we have over 30 people sort of spread in Hong Kong and all over the world. And that gathering is a space for adoptees to fully express themselves, to feel safe in a space, to feel heard and understood. Yeah, it's a beautiful group.
And so now Yan is serving on the adoption committee of Mother's Choice. And he's speaking in and he's representing each and every one of these children who are waiting for an adoptive family. And it is an incredible honor and privilege to know him at this stage of his life.
And for me, it's really come full circle. Mother's Choice, took care of me as a child, and I want to give back as much as I can to Mother's Choice and the community. Mother's Choice is only growing and expanding and helping, and I want to be part of that.
And that is what the gift of Mother's Choice is that we're not alone, that we're walking together, that it's a lifelong journey, but we're doing this together. And I have people that will walk alongside me. And now I have the opportunity to walk alongside Yan, and that group brings me great joy.
Working with adoptees is the most important thing I've done in my life. I feel like I have grown as a person. I think my life has been worthwhile. I feel such love, and it's such a privilege to walk alongside adoptees.